So, hi everyone, you can see we're back here today with a new review, and this is on the DC Animated Film Universe's new film out today, and that is Justice League Dark. So this is Justice League Dark. It is obviously a counterpart of our Justice League, our upstanding, upholding, law-abiding citizens and heroes. This is not that version. This is the true dark version of, I think, the comics really did. Guillermo del Toro, he was going to do a live-action version of this movie. So that kind of shows you Guillermo doesn't take on anything that is of light of heart. Let's just say he was going to do the live action version of this. So let's get straight into it with the leader of the Justice League Dark. If you want to go watch this, guys, go look online, check it out. Or maybe I think it's on some streaming sites that you can buy it or purchase it from. Maybe use some free trials. I don't know. Up to you. What the leader is Constantine. So Constantine leads the Justice League Dark. He is overall what we would call the anarchist, sorcerer, Cockney Englishman, just down to earth magician. He doesn't like to be called a magician, but that is Constantine. The voice actor is Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan is a really good actor. If you want to go check out the live action CBS TV series, they cancelled it sadly. It was amazing. Please go show some love for that and maybe share some positivity. Hopefully they'll bring that back. But they got the voice and the actor back for Constantine because he made such a good impression. I actually have his signature right here. My friend right here, John Joe, he knows him. They both are good acting friends. He was in the show also. Got me a signature for Christmas, and I really appreciate that. Honestly, the real reason Constantine really stood out for me, nothing to Keanu Reeves, but his version wasn't the real nitty-gritty version of Constantine and Hellblazer that we have read and heard of. Matt Ryan's iteration of the character is perfect. Obviously that's why they brought him back for the voice. He really brings the character across with his Cockney English accent. So we'll move on to another part and a sorcerer of the Justice League. Don't worry, we're going to be coming back to Constantine. But Zatanna, she is the female sorcerer of the DC universe. There is a lot of other, let's say Dr. Fate, her father Zatanna, many more other magicians, Felix Faust, all them other dark and light characters, but in the end the one that comes down to is Zatanna, and Zatanna is just the best linguist sorcerer. So the linguist comes into it because all of her spells and incantations, they are the words spelled backwards. So if it was close the door, it would actually be close the door but backwards. So she has to learn all of her incantations and everything else and the spells backward. Whatever they are forward, she has to reread them and say them backward. Takes a lot of control over your voice, vocal cords. That's why the linguist part comes into it. Good force. Zatanna is your character to look into. Also Young Justice, they introduce her in the second season, and in the first season, brilliant. The next one we will move on to, I think I loved, was Deadman's origin. So Deadman, I was introduced in the Brightest Day storyline. So DC's Brightest Day storyline in the graphic novels that encompasses the Green Lantern, Swamp Thing, a lot of the magical side of the DC universe. If you want to go check those comics and graphic novels out, brilliant storylines all in all. Deadman was first introduced to me through that. Boston Brand, he is such a good cocky character. In the end, Boston is just a normal guy wanting to do some good in the world. Something bad happened to him. Not going to spoil anything that happens in the movie really, unless I'll give you a warning. In this one it does show some blood, shows the real grittiness of it, let's put it like that. They don't hold back because it is for a more mature audience. Justice League Dark is in the name. So then we'll move on to Jason Blood. Now, blood is a theme in this movie. Again, I will say they do not shy away from it. DC, thank you so much, and your animated team. You did not shy away from what this compass and storyline and the comics really follow around is darkness, okay? And Jason Blood and Etrigan, they are one and the same. I was introduced first to Etrigan. If you want to go check out Kevin Smith, we come back to Kevin Smith. He did a graphic novel with his friend, a two-parter that were New York bestsellers. If you want to go check out The Widening Gear, that is Batman, The Widening Gear. They are brilliant graphic novels. He has a third part coming out, I think, this year. I'll eagerly await for that. But Etrigan was first introduced through that to me. He is a demon that is, let's say he is conjoined with a human, but is cursed with him also, and Jason Blood is the human, Etrigan is the demon. They conjoin together and Jason Blood has to live with this demon, this curse, shall we say. And Etrigan only comes out certain times. He is a very heinous and really bad character. He likes to eat people in certain versions of him, so please read into Etrigan. He is a really good, deep-rooted character. Again, there is another character that is Swamp Thing. So when Swamp Thing's intro into this, very simple, very good, took a while to get into it, but also when he just showed up, I was like, I'll take that, very good. It's nothing spectacular, it's not in an amazing way. Swamp Thing right here, again, is introduced in the Greatest Day storyline. That's where I first heard of him. I read a lot into the character. He's a very complex character, so if you're looking for something, Alan Moore really introduced something other to the character a good few years ago, along with Sandman, but Swamp Thing and Alan Moore's version of him is a very deep-rooted character. I've read some things. Brilliant guys. If you want to dive into the depths of Swamp Thing, be prepared to analyze some things, be prepared to analyze some truths. Let's just say that it's a very good and well written piece. Okay, anything about Swamp Thing. Then we have the spoiler alert, I'll just say this right now, Batman also is in this. He is our peripheral, shall we say. He is our point of view because he is a normal human in and among all these magical people. So we ourselves put our feet, or we come through Batman and we put ourselves in his feet and in his shoes. We see everything that's happening through his shoes because we are ourselves mortal, we are human and surrounded by all these magical demi-like god things. And throughout that, Batman is a very good, complex character. His certain grunts and grunts throughout really help move along the plot and the conversation, because it's not just, oh, what's this do? What's that do? What's this do? Oh, I like that. Oh, this magical thing. It's just, You know, it really just let Batman be our point of view, of course. Then, spoiler alert, I'll just say that again. This is on the shit demon. Okay, now yes, you heard me right, shit demon. Now this is a picture of Dogma, Kevin Smith. I'm always coming back to him, but Kevin Smith, his film Dogma had a shit demon in it. It's more Catholicism and cathartic, more to do with religion in this term. But in Justice League, they were in a hospital. They could have did it with blood, guts, hearts, body parts, dead people. No, they choose shit. They choose poo, manure, feces. This thing was amazing. I was sitting there watching a cartoon going, holy shit. I'm only just off coming watching it, so I am pretty refreshed in what happens. The shit demon is the most thing that stands out to me. No, they actually did a shit demon in a cartoon in a Justice League Dark movie. Thumbs up. Honestly, both thumbs up to you. Brilliant. And then we go to, there is a lot of Star Wars references. Not bad, not anything I'm griping about, but honestly, a lot of Star Wars references, a lot of lines taken from a lot of imagery. And again, I watched the new DC Legends of Tomorrow episode. That was out today, weird enough, out on a Wednesday. It's usually out on a Thursday or a Friday, and it was out obviously today. Watched that, very good. But in the end, they did, spoiler alert, in their episode, they actually saved George Lucas, because two members of the Legends, they got inspired to become themselves through George Lucas's movies, and in the end, if he didn't make it, their timeline altered sort of George Lucas's pathway. A lot of Star Wars references. The only thing I was waiting on was who shot first, Han or Greedo. Literally, that was the only thing I was waiting on. Every other joke was basically played out. Not a gripe, again, it sounds like it is, but it's just something I think there is a fan at DC, which is weird, because Disney part own Marvel and also they own Star Wars, so that in and of itself is just a conundrum, shall we say. But a big shout out, maybe one of the writers is just a big fan. Okay, so a lot of Star Wars shout outs right there. But again, the cursing, so we'll get to another part, which is the cursing. I come back to thank you so much for staying true to the source material. Constantine, the only thing he doesn't do is smoke and chain smoke. I think maybe in the comics they give that up, I don't know, but he curses a good fair few times. Brilliant, I loved it. It's for a more mature audience, it's directed at a more mature audience. I will say they do not hesitate to shy away from the cars hitting people, so there is people getting knocked down by cars. It doesn't just do the sound effect and the camera shunts away, it really shows the hit, it sells the hits. The blood shows up, the guts, again, the shit demon. all of that just encompasses the more mature view. They treated it as if it's going to be making money, but they knew favorably fans would want a more grown-up version or a more grown-up storyline. And overall, the words that they also chose were very good. They weren't just like shit and piss or something like that. They were good curse words, so just leave that in there. The spoiler alert, again, this is a big twist and spoiler of the movie, so if you want to maybe fast forward about 30 to 40 seconds or rewind or just leave it here, up to you. But you were warned, and this is the twist. Now the twist is Richie. So Richie is Constantine, John Constantine's best friend. It happened a long time ago in Newcastle. That is actually where the live action Constantine TV show starts off, is John tries to do an exorcism in Newcastle with a young girl. It doesn't go right. His friends are there with him, but obviously in this version, when it didn't go right, something backfired and John came out okay, but his best friend got a magical cancer. He got a magical disease that slowly is eating away at him. In this, we find out that he is just about to die, and the massive twist is that it was actually his whole plan all along. His and Etrigan's storyline fall into one and the same. Watch it and you'll find out all about that. But Richie was the master plotter behind everything. I love that. I did not see that coming. Watching the live action TV show, learning about who he was a very shy and timid character. I didn't expect that from him. So very well done, the writers of DC Animated Universe and of Justice League Dark. I don't know if maybe you went to Guillermo del Toro and says, "There, what have you got? Have you got any ideas? Let us see your script for Justice League." Just let us see it. Since it's not getting made anyway, let's take something from it, because that was a very, very good twist. I like that. Brought it home for me, and it wasn't something that they were just bringing outside villains in and here's the big bad. That was very good, I'll say that. The voice actors were brilliant. The voice actors really do help and bring along the conversation. I say again, Batman's voice actor, you can hear him throughout the whole DC Animated Universe, the new iterations anyway, or the new movies. But his grunts and groans, they're not just there to be Batman grunting. They really do follow through as much as a grunt can. Let's just say that. Constantine's voice from Matt Ryan, brilliant. Zatanna, the female voice actor, brilliant. Etrigan's rhyming, I forgot to mention that. Etrigan's rhyming, he speaks in rhyme and tone. I hung on to every single word that Etrigan ever spoke. Okay, so any word that he uttered. In few versions that I've watched previously, like Batman Brave and the Bold, the Justice League, some of the old episodes of Etrigan that he was introduced, his rhyming and his words were not very good. They weren't well written. In this, they are very well written. They are really good. They capture the scene. I was always peeking up my ears to see what he was going to say, but really listening out to what Etrigan and the rhyming scheme that he was going for, everything was self-explanatory and I loved it. So let's go to, I already said it was based at a mature audience. So it was aimed at more of the older generation, because some of the jokes are underlaid and layered with some, let's just say that they're layered. They are layered jokes, they're very good. And I'll bring it back to again, Guillermo del Toro, he had a live action version written for this. Justice League Dark is a very good property. It's a really, really good storyline on all. Their characters are interwoven throughout everyone in DC. So if you want to maybe find out, I will always suggest go and check out the Blackest Night and Brightest Day volumes. They are Brightest Day Volume 1 and then, Blackest Night Volume 1 and then Brightest Day Volume 1, 2 and 3. They are really good storylines. They help introduce the magical world of DC, the environmental side of DC, the hero side of DC, the science world of DC, and also how all of these relationships form and encompass each other, how they're actually interwoven into each other and bounce off one another. Honestly, I have never learned so much than from those 4 graphic novels alone on any universe. Okay, so if again I'll say that Blackest Night and the 3 Brightest Days, Volume 1, 2 and 3, they teach a lot of throughout the whole DC universe of every single character. That's just something that I've thrown out there, maybe a tip and trick if you want to go check that out to learn more. Thank you guys so much for watching this review. It was a spoiler review, halfway through, some things didn't want to get told but I had to anyway. And also guys, you can go and watch DC Animated Universe movies all day if you want, either on Netflix. Go check out Young Justice because they are bringing it back, of course. The animated universe for DC, they are brilliant. The Flash today was also very, very good on the CW, but it didn't hit home for me. This is on the Justice League Dark, always on John Constantine. I've been John Hay, telling you about the Justice League Dark. Go check out and buy some comics if you want, or read up online. Watch Comic Storian's videos, and again, just support DC Animated Movie Universe, and you'll be okay. Love you guys, you're amazing. Always let your geek speak. For me, everyone here at Ireland, I've tried to help you along the way, and bye guys.